Thank you. And Anne, I love the way that you lead worship. Yes, thank you. I try to guess what all the signs mean. It's just really fun. I like that. It's great. I get to introduce Curtis. And Debbie, you said woo. That's right. I got to know Curtis. Curtis, you don't know, because I just pay attention to things, but I've known you for a long time because our church, New Hope, we do still, and it's grown. We do our Good Friday service together with Little Bethel for years. And my kids were really small, and Little Bethel excelled in dramas. And Curtis came in playing Jesus for Good Friday, carrying the cross. And that image has stuck in my mind, the way you entered into that space has left an image in my mind and that of my kids. They know who you are too, even though you don't know them. But the anguish and the love that Jesus had. And so it's a gift that you've given into this community, because I think that you've done that at other times and other people have seen this as well. And these gifts that we offer into this big TrueCity thing, they make a difference, and we don't even know what those things are. So I guess this is my chance to tell you. And I welcome you up. Curtis was born and raised in Hamilton, and he has been attending Little Bethel Community Church since he was 3. I think that was just the other day. And he's chair deacon at Little Bethel. He used to volunteer as a youth pastor for 10 years. He also volunteers at Oneida Baptist Camp and started a new family camp for families with complex needs. Thank you for doing that. In his spare time, he enjoys traveling to Vancouver. I would like to enjoy traveling to Vancouver as well, to go whale watching and watching movies or TV shows with friends and family. So come on up, Curtis.
Thank you. I'm not supposed to add extra stuff, but I'm just going to quickly say the reason why I keep going to Vancouver is because I need to see an orca, and I've seen humpbacks. They're great. I've seen a baby humpback. Pretty amazing, but I need an orca, so I will keep paying the money to go down there just to see one. Anyways, thank you. That was a test to make sure it was on. That's why I did that. Okay. Just make sure I'm ready. Beep. 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 I'm sitting down, tired, exhausted, confused, and scared. My face is swollen. I'm leaned up against a clear divider, and on the other side sits a police officer. But don't worry, he's not there for me. You see, he's there for another patient as we sit in St. Joe's Hospital. Beep. 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 This was 4 years ago. I remember I had this toothache that was getting really bad. I went and got it looked at. They said, yeah, we got to get this out. And then it became a tooth infection. And it was slowly spreading down my throat. I remember my roommates telling me, this doesn't look good. I'm seeing the infection in your spit. You need to go to the hospital. And I was actually almost reluctant. I was like, I'm going to get better. Don't worry about it. But they pushed. They said, no, you need to go. Now, you may recall 4 years ago, we were still, especially in hospitals, under COVID protocols. So sadly, because of my infection, nobody could go in with me. I had to go into the ER by myself. It was a very lonely time, and that's why I'm sitting up against this divider with this police officer, waiting to go in to get a CAT scan. Beep. 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 They call me in for the CAT scan. And this part, I only know so much because at this point, things are getting a little bit wacky for me. I remember laying down, getting it done, and I remember being scared and nervous, and I remember feeling that there was something going on in my mouth that I couldn't explain, and I was really scared, and I was fidgeting around a lot in the bed, or the machine. I don't even remember what it looked like. And I remember seeing the doctors or nurses at a distance, and they looked concerned. They looked like, okay, we need to get him out of there. He's done being in there. And then things went completely black. Beep, beep, beep. When my vision came back, I'm in a waiting room, and this doctor who looks like he's an anime character from a cartoon. Yeah. And he looks at me and he goes, "Open up. We're going to put this pole down your throat." No, I don't want that. And I'm scared. And then I remember he had this big glove on and he had the spray bottle. And he starts spraying me in the mouth. And then things went black again. Beep, 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 beep. I wake up in the ICU. The beeping of the machines haunted me for a couple of years. The tubes that were in and out of my body, helping me to eat, helping me to relieve myself. The worst part of this is that I was all alone. I was scared and alone, and I had no hope. I didn't believe in myself. I didn't want to get better. I was too scared. But then something miraculous kind of happened in a weird way. See, first, whenever I was awake, there would be these, I'd watch the TV, and there was this one show that kept coming on. And this character from the show reminded me of my cousin Dee Dee for some weird reason. I was like, that reminds me of my cousin. And then in this weird way, I didn't feel alone. It's like I had family. And then a lady walked by the room. I'm not sure if she was a nurse or a doctor. She looked kind of casual. But she reminded me of a lovely lady from my church, Sandy. And I knew it couldn't have been her. But it reminded me of her. And it made me feel like, in a weird way, my church family was kind of there. And then the third thing that happened, and probably the most impactful thing, was I had a very special nurse one day who just was so positive and motivational and believed that I was going to get better. And I remember we were getting ready for those tubes to come out, which I never want to do that again. And I remember that we had to do a water test. I had to drink water to see if I can do it on my own to leave the ICU unit. And I remember we did it, and I couldn't do it. I had forgotten how to swallow. It was so scary. But this lady looks at me and goes, "It's okay. We'll try again later. You're going to get it." And I just remember thinking, looking back now, how helpful that was to have such a positive person. And I remember it was January 25th. I remember seeing it on my little whiteboard. And I remember talking to the specific nurse about this, that this day was a very special day for lots of reasons, but specifically for this, it was a young boy's birthday that I work with. You may know Karen and Matt Lowe. I work with their boys who have complex needs. And it was their oldest birthday. And I remember sitting there and looking at this nurse in tears because I was going to miss his big day. And I realized that this mattered to me because they mattered to me. That there was this value that I had with them, and I needed to get back. In a weird way, I found my motivation. I found my value. I found what God has been calling me to be a part of, and I knew I needed to get better because I needed to get back to the boys. I needed to get back to the kids at Camp Oneida that I've poured into, and any of the kids from the past youth groups that may still need me to be around. I needed to get better. I found my value. And here I am, 4 years later. I still work with those boys. I still provide at Camp Oneida. And every once in a while I get calls from some of the old youth guys and I help them out. Now you may wonder, well, where was the unexpected moment from Jesus? It's so interesting how this happened because, to be fair, when I was asked to do this, I thought, okay, I think I got a story. But I didn't know how he came. So I had to go back and think about this moment in my life. And then I realized Jesus provided people, even fictional characters in shows, that would provide hope for me. Jesus provided the right nurse to say the right things, to have a connection there. Jesus knows how to motivate us to get better. Jesus was my light in my darkest moment in my life. I'm so thankful for that. And I'm sorry if this goes a little bit over because we were praying earlier today and somebody said that if God nudges you to say something a little different that you weren't planning to do it. So I'm going to do it. I'm sorry. So when that happened, I had forgotten about this. So I didn't add it into my thing. But the last time I worked with the boys, we were painting in their kitchen. And I remember because they painted me too. And there was paint on my fingers, paint in my hair, paint on my sweater. And I remember when I woke up in the hospital and I saw that paint on my fingernails. And I was reminded. And what's crazy is right now there is yellow paint, which is the same color, on my fingers. Because on Friday, or on Thursday, because of all the weather's conditions and school being closed, Karen decided, let's paint. And we were painting. And I remember that it froze me for a moment as the youngest was asking me to hold his box and the paint's just rubbing up on my fingers. And I was like, wow, God. I needed to be reminded of everything. I'm back. I'm in a scary situation. I won't lie to you. I told the others, I have another tooth problem. But don't worry. I'm not stupid this time. I'm going to get better. I already have my appointment booked to get the tooth removed. It's not infected yet, so we're getting it removed. But this paint reminded me too. And I remember looking, and Dakota started to, oh, I'm not supposed to name drop, but anyways, the young boy, he started to fling the paint a bit towards me. And I froze because it brought that back. And I'm like, am I going? And then I realized in this moment, I said, you're not going back. Jesus is with you. And I just wanted to share that extra part, so thank you.